and good evening to one and all. So is my voice audible? Is my voice audible? Yes, okay, fine. So how are you all doing? Hope everyone is doing well. So first of all, I would like to thank the Hindustan College and the Learning Innovation Center for organizing such an wonderful online international conference. And also my special thanks to Dr. Anuradha Madam, the convener of the conference, for inviting me to share a session in this virtual space. So without further ado, kindly allow me to share my screen. Give me a moment to I think someone is presenting the screen. Okay, now I got the authentication. Hope everyone can see the screen.
Medina Rafiq, your present times today, time the meeting. I removed you 10 times. So once again, you are entering into the meeting, troubling us to present, sir. Sorry for the trouble, sir.
No worries, man. It happens. That is, we all into the new norms. It's quite
Yes, sir.
common. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So my topic today is more on how we can expand our higher education learning space into a research opportunity. Even recently, I was sharing a session with Hindustan College on the faculty development. It's more on borderless learning. So I will touch a little bit on that. Then from there, I will take you to the journey of the research opportunity. Today is more about my success storytelling. To be honest, today my presentation is more about how I really use the learning space for a research opportunity. Probably I will give some ideas during the discussions, and probably it can give some directions, or maybe a motivation, or maybe a eye-opening for some of the participants. So without further ado, I think they have given already a quick introduction about me. Just a quick one. So we're attached with School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events, and I'm Apple Distinguished Educator. So like Google Certified Educator, Microsoft Educators. So Apple also, they have an education center in US. So based on your innovation, every 2 years once, they will open an application where you can apply through online. So it will go through a channel of process based on your innovation. So I take this opportunity just to share a little bit on my Apple Distinguished Educator, what I have done. So what they really look is the novelty in your innovation. So during the year 2013 and 14, I was doing a lot of innovation in terms of transforming the traditional restaurant into digital restaurant, because my area of expertise is F&B operations, food and beverage, restaurant operations, and wine studies, and hospitality business simulations. So I use a lot of Apple technology and also other technology in transforming my, probably I can say transforming my teaching innovations, and also to enrich the learning environment through increasing the engagement among the students. So why I am telling this? Because that itself is an opportunity for me. I can take it as a research opportunity. So when you want to be innovative in your teaching and learning, of course, without doing research, because research will drive you to know what is happening across the globe. Then probably you collect information globally, put it in a collective manner. Then from there, you extract the information and you put your innovation. This is where the co-creation comes, right? So that's what I've done. Even I use a WhatsApp in my restaurant as a tool for ordering system. And even I use the student's mobile phone to engage in the customer dining space. So that's all a lot of innovation I've done. So I applied my application. It went through a process. It will go a layer of process for 2 months. Then I got selected in 2015. So what is the advantage of getting all this Apple Distinguished Educator or maybe Google Educators and others? Every year, they will open a 5 days workshop for you to go and participate in other countries. So far I went to 2 countries, one to Singapore for 5 days, and another one to Australia, Melbourne for 5 days. So what happens there, we try to expand our network and we bring a lot of innovations and research collaborations. So through one impact in my classroom, how I expanded, so my learning exposure started growing globally and it started giving a lot of networking. That networking is what I'm getting a lot of invitations in Philippines, in Indonesia, in Singapore, and also in India, where I try to share my experience. So that's more about me, like service innovation. So because I just want to share the Apple Distinguished Educators or maybe other educator certification. During that 5 days, everything is covered by Apple, including your hotel. The moment you get down in the airport, until you leave, go back to the airport, everything is covered by Apple. In top of that, you will also get a lot of networking, a lot of new technologies, a lot of new innovations. So I also take this opportunity to celebrate with you all virtually. Recently, the QS, I think everybody knows QS World Ranking. Our university recently got #1 private university in Malaysia and also in Southeast Asia, which is a proud moment for us last week. So I also would like to share with you all and also share the momentum with you all. So we jumped from 511 in between 520 to 379 with a very good hike of 100, not easy. This all happens because how as an educator we are engaging ourselves, how we are dedicating ourselves into the institution and expanding our network and get benefit in all stakeholders. And also I take another opportunity to share the information. Is my voice okay?
Sir, just a second, sir. I remove him, sir. Just a second, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now I removed him, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. So I also take this opportunity because Taylor's, especially Taylor's University, why we are doing very well in the recent technology, because we have started the Taylor's University under the leadership of our Vice Chancellor, Prof. Michael Driscoll, and also our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pradeep Nair, and also all the head of the school, especially our head of the school, Prof. Dr. Nithya, and our head of the schools, and program directors, everybody. We have taken a step in, like I can say, even like 10 years back. So we are almost into the era of technology integration in the education system. So the opportunities and the trainings given to us during that last almost a decade really helps us to fit ourselves into the recent changes in the technology and also embrace the technology in a right way into the right approach, teaching approach. That's the reason why we got also recently QS star rating for 5-star rating for online learning during this pandemic time. So I also hope the participants who are listening, your university also will come to the ranking with your innovations. So I also would like to start my presentation with some of the code. Mostly I use this code always, but I put in a different agenda. Of course, educating the mind without educating the heart, no education at all. Aristotle tells that. That means your education should always comes from your heart, not from your just mind. It's just, I want to do the job. No, you have to fulfill your job. Okay, so because we all as educator, our main priority is to give a learning experience. And as our Abdul Kalam, late Abdul Kalam says, Dr. Abdul Kalam, All birds find shelter during the rain, but eagle avoids rain by flying above the clouds. But I use this quote to relate or probably hypothesize here. When you are in a classroom, you need to find not only like just to engage or probably to complete your lesson plan of the day, or probably just to deliver the knowledge. You have to be like an eagle. That means, because if you're going to do only the standard set skills as educator, you will be in the risk. The rain is nothing but a risk of your job sustainability. So you must know how to fly above the cloud. That is nothing but how you can use your learning space for different space, that means different openings or different agendas or maybe different opportunities, not only on learning. That's a whole idea of my presentation today, how I really use the classroom into research opportunity. So my today presentation, as I told you, it will be more on sharing experience. So I'm going to put the learning space, okay, the learning space, especially in the higher education, why it is very important. What are the changes happening? There are a lot of changes happening in the education system, especially from education 1.0 to 4.0. The role of the educators have changed from teacher-centric towards like reciprocal, that means just a clustered manner. Then from there, we become a facilitator, and now we become more towards like a mentors, or I can say a coach. So the role of educators are changing, but the learning never changed. But the expectation of the learners are changing. That's what I put in the bottom. Why we need to change? Because there's a high rate of Gen Z, and especially in higher education, especially in graduate level, the students who are now doing undergraduate is mostly Gen Z, who are looking for more experience rather than knowledge or satisfaction of learning. So I think we need a change. So I just put where 4 components, there are many components, I put the major components where really the learning space in a higher education. Number 1, inside the classroom. That's nothing but our standard traditional classroom with 4 walls, like 4 walls, closed door. Okay, where the attention of the students is only 50%. The active participation ratio is, I can say maybe sometimes maximum to 50, most of the time, unless if it is really a challenging or creative tool is used. So when we are inside the classroom, we are limiting the challenges in our learning process. Okay, so and also when you are in a classroom setup, the space between the learners and the facilitator has been very small. You cannot reach the students who is far away from you unless you move your class outside or you change your setup to informal cluster setup. So other side, I put what can be done in the outside of the classroom. So outside the classroom, there some of the research says that there is an increased active participation among the students. I can say maybe up to 80%. Why? The challenge has been given extended, not only within the classroom, outside of the classroom. So where there are a lot of people, visibility, because the current generations, they are very much social conscious. Okay, they want to be socially focused, especially they are very good in terms of photosynthetic, what we call it as photo taking approach. Okay, whatever they are doing, they want to take a photo, they want to upload. They live in a world of Instagram and also I can say maybe Facebook world. So we need to make use of the students' preference. And also the third part is added to the space between the learners and faculty. So when you move your classroom out of the normal traditional classroom, when the students are engaged outside the classroom, for example, you are doing or maybe you are doing a food promo, or maybe a marketing campaign in a shopping mall. So automatically the students are exposed to the third party. That means I say public. Maybe the industry experts, maybe the recruiters. So automatically the students' challenge is getting increased and their attention and their involvement, because the current students are very much focused on appreciation. And also they are very much focused on attention seeking. Okay, especially in the social world. So And the third part, where is the learning is happening? The library. So now there are a lot of changes happened in the library, modern setups, discussion rooms, learning hubs, independent cubicles. So you can see even the students, a lot of things happening in our library, because this is where the students become more casual. A lot of university, including Texas, we have 24/7 library zone, where the learning zone, where the students can go and sit and learn. And also, like we do have most of the university, including us, we have e-library. So the learning is, the knowledge access is no more time zone. There is no restrictions. It's always open. So number 4, the students nowadays prefer the cafe or casual setup, because most of the time the restaurants or maybe cafes are very close to the campus or maybe inside the campus. Even in our university, we have our own commercial block where a lot of restaurants are there. So just Gen Z, even the Gen Y, prefers to work in cafe. To be honest, even most of my PhD work during 2013 to 15, I did a lot of work in my cafe, working in cafe, because it is the place where the ambience, easy access to coffee or snacks when you're hungry. So there's the movement, the attention, okay, your momentum of research or momentum of discussion, okay, casual environment. So sometimes you can move out of the screen and you can have a casual talk with your friends. This is where it can reduce your screen time and it will involve you into life skill discussions. So this is more on moving away from negative vibes, because sometimes we do a lot of discussion inside the classroom. There are a lot of criticism, a lot of students not focused, passive learners. It will also demotivate the active learners. So probably that's the reason why this is happening. So I just put on the bottom few facts. So what can be done inside the classroom? Basically, why we need to do that, especially it is more no personalized learning. Some of the issues, maybe like because of the space management issues, probably we cannot deliver a personalized service. And I put lack of privacy in the teamwork. For example, inside the classroom, when you do a discussion, group discussion, because of face-to-face discussions, even online discussions, there is no privacy. You are doing in a vocal, it is easily audible because it's a closed environment. But when it comes to the outside the classroom, change in learner's perspective, right? And the expectations are changed. Okay, when we move the classroom from marketing topic from classroom to outside, automatically everything is changed. Okay, and the third part, as I mentioned, the competitive environment. The students become competitive. I will tell you why I'm talking on all these things later. And number 3 on the library positive environment, because the people who come to the library, they have a lot of positive vibes, knowledge, discussion. Okay, so automatically eye capturing. That means everybody look at you in the library, what you are doing. So automatically eye catching. Okay, and private discussion groups. At last, I would like to touch study anytime, because cafes are 24 hours most of the places now. McDonald's or maybe for quick service restaurants, because I still remember those days when the quick service restaurant like McDonald's or maybe like KFC, even in India like Pizza Huts, okay, all this started as a quick service where the customer go, order the food, pick up the food and leave the restaurant, grab and leave. But now it is not like that. All the McDonald's or maybe go to coffee shops, even coffee days, small restaurant hubs, donut centers, you can see the tables and chair, even the free Wi-Fi. So automatically the ambience is there, internet access for global knowledge is there. So all this thing will make your students to move away from negative vibes, and also it will make them to learn anytime. So looking at this, why this? Okay, so I'm putting like education present or maybe a future, because some institution, what I'm discussing may be a present scenario. Some institution, maybe you are in a transformation period where you're moving forward for the future integrations. So what are the components you can use to design your new classrooms? Okay, why this? Because it opens a new research scope. It opens collaboration for consultancy with the industry, and also it opens collaboration between the industries and also academic. Number one, I can say industry network. Try to increase 60% of engagement with the industry in your classroom. And number two, academic collaborations. Okay, so that means why we need to increase at least 40%. This is where the students get cross-cultural exposure through virtual or probably through the education trips. Number three is the teacher's method. So try to increase at least every time 60 per year, introduce new teaching methods. When I say new teaching methods, it is not, I'm not telling to move away from the tradition. Include the new teaching method to enrich your learning or enrich your delivery tools. And number four is more on students' learning experience. Try to give 80% of focus on learning experience rather than knowledge delivery. That's very important in current scenario. So because the students require multiple knowledge points, access points, so it can be achieved only through multiple learning approach. So why all this four? Why need to focus? Number one, industry networking. Why? So this is where it helps when you bring industry networking engagement in your classroom. It will help you to develop the future network and also future workforce skills in your curriculum. Okay, probably it can be a success stories or maybe a new trends happening. Anything can be shared in the classroom, in or offshore. Academic collaborations, it's more on joint research opportunities. Okay, when you bring your, for example, an academician to share in a webinar, probably, okay, this is where a starting point for you to start discussing with that respective academicians how we can collaborate for research. Why I put cross-cultural exposure? Because you can take one respective study, for example, maybe the students' behavior in the classroom. Okay, so you can take from India and Malaysia. A survey can be designed, but the study is more on cross-cultural aspect. So this is where we have a different outcome in one approach. This is what the design learning is applied here. And also it helps you to do a lot of joint events like research programs or maybe research forums, or maybe that also can be done. Number three is more on teacher's method. So what can be done here is, as I mentioned, when you increase your teaching tool, it will help you to come with a new research topics on teaching area. And it will give you, as I mentioned about the Apple Distinguished Educator and other certified educators, it will help you. So when you grow globally, you can bring a lot of collaborations in terms of research, in terms of academical fraternity. This is what we contribute to the academic fraternity, right? Number four is the students' learning experience. Okay, as I mentioned, this is where when you give a lot of different learning experience to the students, this is where a students-based research on the learning can be done. It can engage your students in project-based learning, or it can be problem-based learning. So probably you can take one of the industry. I will give an example here. For example, the industry is currently facing a big drastic decrease in the customer in any industry. For example, I take my own industry, hospitality. So probably take a scenario, how to increase the customer intention to stay in a hotel in the future during post-pandemic. As a case, probably approach the industry people, ask their issues, put into a case and this to your classroom and get your students' feedback. Then automatically it becomes a very holistic learning experience where research also coming output. Even you can use your own students to present the outcome of the case study as a research opportunity to the industry. So this is how we can be done. So for me, I just put what are the areas, the research, because the last slide is more why we need a transformation, what is the benefit of it, how we can extract the research opportunity now. I'm going to share a bit. Number one, so when you're going to embark yourself into a new learning experience for students focused, this is where you bring a lot of research on students related. For example, you can do a study on how was the student's experience on online. All the institutions are doing online using Zoom, or maybe Zoom using Google Meet. Okay, so automatically this is where you can do a simple survey. Okay, or maybe even you can, if it's just postgraduate students, you can take one group of students and you can do probably a focus group. You can go for a qualitative research. This is where you can take an in-depth interview approach, and probably you can do an interview, maybe 2 or 3 sets of focus group interview, in-depth interview, and from the interview we can do a thematic analysis. Okay, during the virtual learning, what are the different themes, or maybe different learning themes can be generated. Okay, if you're not a qualitative person, then probably you can take some of the learning students. There are so many learning students learning surveys available, scales. Take one of the scale, take some good theories and develop the scale. Try to work with it, try to develop the scale, and you can do a survey and you can make a paper out of it. That's how we need to move forward. This is a research opportunity. So coming to our teaching tools, okay, it is nothing but you are in, for example, suddenly when the pandemic COVID-19 came, okay, which is an unpredicted, or maybe I can say unprecedented moment. Everybody have to transform the learning. What kind of challenges you have faced as an educator? Put yourself as a reflection-based paper. Yes, nowadays even the journals accept the reflection papers. Okay, during these 3 months, what is your challenges or probably opportunities, or maybe you can do your SWOT analysis of self-reflection. That can be a paper. Or probably you can even, as a institutional, collectively, you can maybe 10 people, a team, and you can just start sharing your own experience as a focus group. Interview your teachers, get it in. Or probably I can take an example of this current webinar. Maybe you will be collecting a feedback from all the participants who is an academician. So what you are going to do with the feedback, think about it. You can come out with a paper, but your feedback should be designed in such a way that the research outcome can be achieved. So that means the questions you design should be based on the scale, so that it is easy for you to transform into data to do the quantitative research analysis. For example, even a simple correlation or maybe advanced statistical models, okay, structural equation models, using PLS or maybe RAP modeling, PLS smart RAP models, or maybe you can use Visual, or you can use almost anything. Okay, you have to think yourself. Academic oriented challenges. I put like I put as a channels. That means this is what I'm telling, like as an academy oriented, what kind of research can be done? Okay, maybe you can apply for grant. Okay, because all the ministries or maybe like educations or different NGOs or education bodies, they're opening a lot of application for grant, or maybe internal grants or outside grant. So try to work as a team. Have a multidisciplinary team. When we have a multidisciplinary research team, your approach of research also should be multidisciplinary. So try to focus on that. And next one, industry research. I mentioned earlier, the previous slide about the case study. This is a good opportunity for you to connect with the industry. Ask that any innovative solutions can be given to them through your research contribution, either maybe within your institutions or maybe within your country or global perspective. So I can say all these things, or I given some of the example for each topic. Okay, this is how the research space, the learning space can be expanded or maybe extended. I can say maybe like expanded to create research opportunity within your normal learning space. So what I'm trying to say here, don't look your learning space as educator only there to deliver your content, deliver the knowledge to the students, or probably just to engage your students, or just to deliver. You can do more than that. Is it clear? Can I move forward?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Move forward, sir.
So I'm just touching a little bit on last time I did a borderless classroom, how we have moved the industry space into learning space. This is our students go to the industry, they do a dining experience, and they have to report back to the hotel, and they have to present to the hotel management. And as I shared, I also invite the industry people to onshore to share their experience to the students. Okay, why I purposely put these slides today? Based on that, it helps me to come up with the paper. The paper on the left, it is nothing but the factors affecting hotel employee attrition and turnover, which I worked with. I got an opportunity from some of my friends from US. One is Chef Sauji Gopalakrishnan and Dr. Kavita, and also other co-researcher. So my part in this paper is more on data collection, because they are in US. The paper is more towards Malaysian perspective. Brainstorm. Even we take some of the students' idea, but we need to cite everything. That's very important. So another cases like virtual panel discussion, which I have done during this pandemic. So what is the outcome of that? Is we managed to submit one of the journal from Prof. Chian from US. It's a journal of hospitality and tourism technology. So this paper has been initiated from another university under one of my friend, Dr. Uma, and his team. And one of my one of the co-researchers is my colleague, Dr. Rupa. So we just submitted the abstract. The abstract has been successfully accepted. It's a qualitative research because we also interview some of the general manager to come up with our abstract. So this is how, because this is fun for our students for a learning purpose, for the service quality management module. So I expect research opportunity. Same goes with our global classroom project from India to like Malaysia to India. We did a classroom, and this we also came able to present in a conference. This is one of the collaboration we done with US, my class with East Carolina University. We are still working on conceptualizing a more paper on this, because we are going to have the same set this year. Then we are going to conceptualize, we are going to contextualize into paper. So why I'm saying that students paper, because one of my paper on the students learning, because I introduced using like Edmodo is a learning platform since 2012. So I would like to thank Taylor's allowing us to do a lot of trainings outside. Learned this about this platform through one of my previous colleague, Ms. Noor. So from there, I started using that in my classroom. Then at one stage, after 1 or 2 years, I started thinking, why not we do a paper on this as a learning platform? Let's see what the students' preference towards this using to create a responsible learning. So I'm so happy to share here, even though I'm not a good, I can say not, I have not done too much of paper publication compared to other eminent professors in the world. I've done only 15 plus papers, but among that, one of the paper which has high citation is this. I got so far 186. Since 2007, my citations are always minimum 30 to 40 from this paper, because it's a learning paper. It's a student-centric paper. Same goes with, I work with my current head of the school, Dr. Joachim. We work 2 papers. So from his learning, from his students' learning, so we try to work together, and we publish 2 papers, in one in 2016 and one is 2017. So even the papers we are publishing is mostly like Elsevier or maybe Spinkers. So minimum scopus we are focusing. And this is the advantage, another way how you can use your respondent. Okay, so me and another colleague, Mr. Murugan, we come with the paper, Factors Influencing Millennial Satisfaction of Cafe and Restaurants in Kuala Lumpur. So automatically our students is the respondent. So we shared the survey to the students, and also we did the snowballing technique to ask the students to share to the other members. So we get it published in Asia Pacific Journal of Innovation in Hospitality and Tourism. I also would like to share that our School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events, we do have own journal. We call it as Asia Pacific Journal of Innovation in Hospitality and Tourism, which is a Scopus journal since last more than 2 years. And we also opened a lot of call for paper for innovation in hospitality and tourism. So we managed to publish. So this is where the learning, but the students, we say, because some of the students did restaurant, they go. So we ask, we interview the students, what kind of factors really influence you to go to cafe? Then based on that, we developed our survey. And not only that, it also helps me to participate in a lot of like e-learning carnivals. Okay, so showcase what we are doing in teaching innovation. So it is also a proceeding which comes as a research contribution. And recently, as they mentioned in the introduction, I got the gold medal with my colleague, Dr. Rupam. We did a AR in augmented reality in our training restaurants. So this is all learning space, and just because that is my F&B operation class, but I use for research purpose also. This is how it works. Probably it works, the video. So you can see the students. This is our restaurant. So the students scan the menu. Scan the menu, automatically the menu will come. Okay, the one on the right side, what I put, it is not only for research publication, the learning space also allowed me to apply for grant. So in Taylor's, they support with an internal grant to really motivate the people, the educators, researchers. So I got almost like 23,000 grant as a principal, which I can convert to India is probably like, I can say maybe close to 4 lakhs grant, which I have completed already, and which I'm coming out with. Thing is basically I was doing why we do borderless shift in learning culture, and also to faster teamwork learning, and also for the research opportunity and collective intelligence to address the big problem in the industry as well as in the academic world, and also to create workforce not only for students, even for the educators. And this is how the education going to be in future, more collaboration in every level. So try to learn from each other, share, care, time to care, share, care is very important, grow together. Students working together, and we also should work together. And yes, it is a different learning styles, create new learning models. Okay, I put here, create new learning models through your research. That can be done only when you implemented innovations in your teaching. So as John Hattie say, the students improve 3 times the motivation, concentration, persistence, and engagement in online or collaboration. So why not you take his own study and take his own skill instrument, research instrument, run in your own students. Check whether there is any controversial or maybe the results are different. That's how the research comes in. So we need to embrace the technology, as I always say, but technology integration should be more towards sustainability, success. So I take this opportunity to thank all the participants for active listening. I hope I didn't take extra time. And I would like to say here, I say crisis. People take it as an excuse, but we should take it as it is a time to build the resilient, be resilient, build the resilient skills, and you have to be innovative to cope up with the pandemic or any kind of crisis. And this is a time for us to share. It's very important. Sharing is caring. And this is the time to embark yourself into collective intelligence. Okay. So when you have a collective intelligence, this is where human intelligence getting empowered and still we handle the artificial intelligence. Okay. So at last, when we do all this thing, it's more for sustainability. I say sustainability for all stakeholders, not only for us as an individualistic. Sustainable for us, sustainable for our whole community of education, teachers community, and sustainable for our business providers and everybody, even for sustainable for industry. So I think we have to apply this crisis concept, but in a different way. So I also would like to say my special thanks to Dr. Anuradha Madam and team. Reach me, this is my details. I'm always happy to connect with you all. So you can just send your friends request in Facebook or maybe in LinkedIn. I'll be happy to accept that. So I'm also happy to share. As I put my quote always, my quote is every day is a new day with new learning. So that every new learning imparts new knowledge, and every new knowledge is a new experience. So stay positive always. I also would like to take an extra gratification to Dr. Anuradha Madam, convener, for inviting me again to share this virtual platform with a lot of educators across globally, especially from India and other parts. And also, I would like to thank ICT, the Information and Technology and City from Hindustan College. I think without you, definitely nothing can happen. And also the supportive team and also the participants. Without you, nothing is not going to happen. So at last, one and all, I would like to thank everyone. Always our industry will bounce back better and more strong. Thank you so much. I open for question and answer. Q&A session.
Thank you so much, sir. Excellent and knowledgeable presentation, sir. Session from you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Any questions from participant side? Any questions from participant side? Can we proceed a summary of the report and vote of thanks, sir?
Sure, madam. So there's no question, right? Is there any question in the chat?
Sir. No questions in the chat box, sir. Yes, ma'am. Please proceed, ma'am. Ma'am, please proceed, ma'am.
Sir, ma'am, my voice is audible?
Yes, madam. Very
Yes,
well.
ma'am. Your voice is audible, ma'am.
Yeah. Sir, really excellent and very, very informative talk regarding the session, sir. Thanks a lot for your awesome presentation, sir.
Thank you.
And I think my name is Maheshwari Purushottaman. While you were discussing about Border Classroom, I was there in this meeting, and I was very much about your fabulous explanation regarding Border Classroom also. And now, thank you, sir. We have to thank you for such a kind of informative session you have given to us, sir. So my question regarding this is, you have told your experience in the research field. Have you ever experienced any negative side while going for the research activities, sir?
So can you specify specific, probably what you mean by negative?
Negative means, because in your cases, whenever we go and meet anyone else regarding for paper publication or plagiarism report or anything, there will not be any voluntary involvement or helping from everyone. Yes?
You mean you are telling every stakeholders like academician, industry?
Yeah, of course, sir. Did you meet like that? Any experience in your life you have?
So definitely, of course, the success comes with a lot of failure, as we all know.
Because that's what every researcher will face that one, sir.
Yeah, that is a learning. I can say it's a learning base. Yeah, learning
experience.
A baby cannot walk without falling down. I'm right, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah. So yes, we do have challenge, but I think when we failure, we will try to learn a bit more on strategic. So maybe I can give you a hint here. For example, when you are going to approach the industry for a research collaboration, probably it will be good. You maybe you can blend it with some project-based approach, so that where the industry gets some benefit, and then probably they will approach you. And maybe another way, probably you ask for an appointment to the industry experts, and you go and do a good presentation. Okay, this is what we are planning. This is what we are planning to do. So we are looking for this support from you. It is all the results will be shared to you, and we will be happy to extend any other collaboration to complement this. So I think now the industry really need it because of, I think now we are in a right time. The finance has been sealed, has been blocked everywhere in the world.
Yes, sir, of
So
course.
I think it is the time for us to work closely with the industry to do some micro research. Yes, madam. I hope I answered everything.
Yeah, sure, sir, sure. Always your explanation will be very, very excellent. Because when we ask something, you explain to us in such a way that even a basic person who is not a researcher also will be able to understand.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for
And awesome medalist you are, sir. It's a great success in your research life. You have to be success in your life. Everywhere you have to achieve, sir. Thank you for the explanation. And I convey my thanks to Dr. Anuradha ma'am and all the organizers of Hindustan College team for giving me an opportunity to convey my regards and also to interact with such great personality like Dr. Kandappan, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for such a very good compliment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Kanna Lakshmi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
A question from participant. The participant side. So I think no questions from the participant side, sir. Can we proceed a summary of report, sir?
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Once again, I thank you for your kind support for our conferences, sir. It's a grateful support, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure.
Ma'am, you please proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts of innovative pedagogical approaches, that is borderless classroom and virtual classrooms. Knowing about Apple educators and Google educators is very much useful. Where we can use our learning opportunities in borderless classroom and virtual classrooms. Sir said the changes are very much important. And about the students, the current students were focusing on attention seeking and appreciation. In education present and future and research opportunities and industry space to learning space, and in the research outcomes, we came to know about the virtual panel discussions are very much useful in borderless classroom. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, shall I?
Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Proceed. Vote of thanks to ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to one and all. It is my great pleasure and honor to deliver vote of thanks. I, on behalf of PG and Research Department of Mathematics, Hindustan College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, would like to express my gratitude to our managing trustees, Srimati Saraswati Kannayan ma'am, Dr. Priya Satish, Dr. A. Ponuswamy sir, and convener Dr. S. Anuradha ma'am for organizing this 5 days online international conference on innovative challenges in multidisciplinary research and practices. Extend my sincere thanks to our today's chief guest, Dr. Kandappan Balasubramanian sir, for his excellent presentation on expanding the higher education learning space into research opportunities. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with us to know about virtual classes and borderless classroom, and mainly about the opportunities where the educators will have at this present situation for your patience, cooperation, and listening. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, most respected sir.